Hello and welcome to National Mindset. This is me, Avneesh Jain, and today I am at the financial capital of India, Mumbai. Talking about finance, I have with me someone who is very well known into the topic of finance. I have with me KC Lee, the chairman of SBM Bank Limited. So, sir, first of all, a very welcome to our channel.
Good evening.
Okay, sir. So we and obviously the international banking community know very well what SBM do. Can you take us through to the viewers of our viewers that what SBM is and what exactly does it do?
Well, SBM stands for State Bank of Mauritius. It's a bit like your SBI here. It is majority owned by the government of Mauritius, but it is also a listed company on the stock exchange of Mauritius. It is the second largest bank, commercial bank in Mauritius, and it has also established its subsidiaries in 4 countries: in Kenya, in Madagascar, in India, and in Seychelles. So we can be considered to be a regional bank, and our targets and focus are mid-corporates and higher-end SMEs in each of these countries. And in Mauritius, we have the mandate from the government of Mauritius to be the bank of proximity to its clients. So we have a lot of branches all across the island to serve our customers nearer their places of work and their places of residence. And in this way, we have grown into a large retail bank, which is the second largest bank in Mauritius.
Yeah. So, sir, there obviously a new banking in the Indian market arises a lot of questions. So I'll go one by one. The first thing that I want to know, sir, you started from Mauritius, then you went to Kenya, Madagascar, and now India. So, what specific line of choice led to the selection of countries of operation for SBM?
Well, we want to be a regional bank. So we are in Madagascar and Seychelles, which is in the region, islands in the region. We are also in India because of the strong ties, especially economic and commercial ties between Mauritius and India. As you know, India is the largest exporter for Mauritius. In other words, we import the largest amount of goods and services from India. It is the number 1 country of our imports. Secondly, also, the majority of the population of Mauritius hails from India, is of Indian origin. And obviously, the government of Mauritius and of India have very close ties, which reflects in very privileged relationship, and this has been translated into the award of this banking license to our wholly owned subsidiary in India. SBM is the first foreign bank to be given a full banking license for its wholly owned subsidiary. We had in the past 4 branches. Now we have consolidated these 4 branches into a wholly owned subsidiary, and it is the first time that a foreign bank has been allowed and licensed to operate a full-fledged universal bank in India. So this is a first for India. Yeah. It is also a first for us, because for us, we are going to put a foothold in a country with a market which is 1.3 billion population, when Mauritius has a market of the size of 1.3 million population.
So one thing that comes sure is SBM has the way it has succeeded from country to country is itself a example of success and how well it is doing in the banking sector. I want to know from you, sir, that it has done exceedingly well in each country as per in every terms. So what is the credit that goes for the success of this in such a short time?
Well, first of all, we are a strong domestic retail franchise. So people trust SBM in Mauritius. It is a bank of proximity, and it meets all the demands and needs of a retail population. So on the back of this success, we therefore ventured into Madagascar on the same business model. But this time in India, because it is such a huge population, we cannot be a bank of proximity. We cannot have branches and outlets in all single villages and cities in India. So we will have to become a digital bank. So our services will be very modern, very innovative, but essentially it will be very digitalized. So we want to offer banking services to the people of India, but especially to the SMEs of India, on which we are focusing, with a system of everywhere and anytime banking. So through your mobile apps, you will be able to bank with SBM, do any banking transaction now and here. So that's what is our motto, to build up our franchise as a digital bank in India.
So, sir, one thing that's Indian market, as you said, is already it's a market of 1.3 billion people, and already we have a lot of private sector banks and public sector banks which are already competing in the market against each other. So, how do SBM, compete in the market and makes its own niche for people?
Well, as you know, the banking system in India has come under stress, right? So we are coming to India, as I said, on a business model which is different from that which we are used to run on. This is one aspect of it. The second aspect of things is that Mauritius is a financial center. Mauritius is an international financial center. And Mauritius is the hub, the route through which billions of dollars have been channeled from different countries, especially in the West, in the Western world, from financial institutions and funds from the financial Western world, has been channeled through Mauritius to India. So we have the capacity to raise funds, to raise international money. So with this capacity, we are coming to India and we are adding value to the banking system, as I said, which is a bit under stress for the moment. You know, Mauritius has already initiated the Masala bond, which is a kind of ECB for Indian businesses. So we have been able to raise money through Masala bonds to invest and to finance Indian enterprises. We have also set up SBM Maharaja funds, funds that are focused on India, funds that invest in the Indian stock market. So we are contributing in our own way to finance Indian enterprises. And we think that with all these initiatives, we will be able to raise international money and bring it to add value to the domestic industry in India. So that will be a dimension that we are going to bring to India.
So, sir, you are been operating in from 1994 in India from other name, but you have reformed it very recently. So, sir, I want to know from you that you have been into this banking sector in India directly or indirectly from a very long period. So, sir, how do you see the changes that have come from 1994 to 2018 at the present? What are the leaps that have taken place from 1994 to now in the banking sector, or in terms of how Indian market has changed from 1994 to 2018?
Yes, definitely the banking scene has changed dramatically in India. As I said, India is one of the fastest growing economy in the world, and necessarily the banking and the financial scene will have to cope with that fast pace of growth. As I said, we from SBM, we have that capacity to bring foreign international money into the Indian economy, and India will continue to need FDI, will continue to raise money internationally, and Mauritius is a route which will continue to add to this possibility of boosting further the growth of the Indian economy. But on the other hand, what we can do is we can also achieve the outbound investment of India, because India has become a global nation. India has created a lot of international brands, and India also is looking to conquer overseas markets. So we at SBM, we are well placed here in India to accompany these Indian players to go in the overseas market, especially in Africa, because Mauritius has a lot of treaties with Africa, a lot of free trade agreements with Africa, where we can export our goods to African market without quota and without duty. In fact, Mauritius have got economic partnership with Europe, where we can also export to Europe and trade with Europe without duty and without quota. And there is also the AGOA, which is an agreement with the USA, where we can sell our goods to the USA market without quota and without duty. This means that we can attract Indian businesses through Mauritius as a gateway to Africa and to Europe and USA even. So in that way, we will be able to create further dynamism in the Indian market, and as a bank, we will accompany the Indian enterprises in order to conquer new frontiers.
So, sir, now that you have received such a a unique, or not every bank gets the license from RBI. From there are multiple foreign chains that have not able to get the license that you have got, the Mauritius Bank. Sir, how has been the political support from the different governments or the current government to the bank, or the license that you have got recently for the bank?
Well, definitely a new boost has been given when this government, which has been elected in 2014, when this government took over power, this government took the initiative to negotiate with India to open up new horizons for further economic cooperation between India and Mauritius. And one of the key pillars of this strategy is to make the State Bank a financial facilitator for that new cooperation. In that context, the government of Mauritius, with its strong relation with the government of India, and also strongly anchored on a electoral victory which we have achieved against past governments which were more relaxed and could not take such initiative. We, as a team, as a nation, we worked very hard. You know how the Reserve Bank of India is very difficult and very demanding. We worked very hard, and the government definitely played a great role in supporting us to get that license, which has not even been obtained by big banks, multinational banks like Citibank, Deutsche Bank, Development Bank of Singapore. All these banks are still in the queue, but we managed to get the first license.
Yeah. So from 1994, I am seeing that you were operating as State Bank of Mauritius Limited. Now you have reformed it as a State Bank of Mauritius India Limited. So what are the new target sectors that you are targeting? And also I want to add to that, what are the future prospects for the Indian market that SBM has decided to deliver?
Well, as I said, we are now a wholly owned subsidiary. We now have an independent board of directors. We now have a fully independent management, strong executive management, which is recruited by its own board in India. So definitely we are now in a position to approach the Indian market with more capital, with a better branding, and also we are able to approach the market with a more solid strategy for mobilizing resources. So what we can promise to the Indian market is that we will be very close to your needs. We will try to satisfy the demanding needs of India. In fact, a lot of requests have already come up to us, especially to support the Indian startups. Yes. And some people are even telling us, since you are so innovative, since you are taking new initiatives, why don't you become the bank for the startups? So we are considering all this, and the Prime Minister was in visit here and inaugurated our bank. He visited the Bombay Stock Exchange, and he saw for himself the busy activity of the incubator with all the startups. So this is under consideration. We will definitely change the scope of our banking services, and we will take initiatives where there is the demand. So this is
So one target group that you are constantly mentioning is that higher SMEs. So there are companies like SRAM, MRAM limiteds in India that are working really hard. So how can you, your bank and your corporation can support companies like SRAM, MRAM, and the other high-end SMEs in India?
I know of SRAM and RAM, and I have seen their booth in Cairo, where they exhibited their services and facilities in the intra-Africa trade. So these type of companies are very aggressive and also adventurous to reach out to all the different countries in Africa in all sorts of activities, not only in financial services, but also in ICT services, in BPO, now in trading, in commodities, in metals, in minerals. So we can see a lot of companies like SRAM and RAM in India which are venturing into Africa. And we are well placed, as I said, because we have free trade relations with Africa, and we have, on the other hand, strong economic ties with India. So we can act as a bridge. We can act as a bridgehead for trying to obtain further synergy and make business happen through all our banking services and also non-banking services, because we provide also facilities like stockbroking, asset management, wealth management, IPOs, capital raising, debt restructuring. We can offer all these services to the emerging SMEs that want to go overseas.
So, sir, two parts in the world are highly rich in cultural heritage: African countries, and specifically in Asia, India. So the relation of political relation between Asia and India is very strong, and it has built over years very recently. So what we can see from the SBM promises is that the trade relations and the commercial purpose of India and Africa will also develop over the years, given that SBM is working in that channel very hard.
You see, I have said that SBM can help to raise money, to raise funds, and to facilitate investment. But we should not forget the other dimension, which is the trade, because basically India, Asia, and Africa trade a lot between themselves. As I said, the number one importer for us is India. Yeah. We import the greatest number of goods from India. Number two is China, right? So, therefore, trade is very important in our relations, and it goes for all the African countries. So, SBM will play a very important role in terms of trade financing, allowing the trade to happen through the delivering of LCs, letters of credit, documentary letters of credit, standby letters of credit, discounting of bills, pre-shipment finance, export finance. All these facilities we can provide to enable the trade to increase between Asia and Africa. And this is what Africa is looking for. Africa wants to have more trade with Asia because traditionally we have been focused on the West. They are trading mainly with the West. Today, we have shifted the attention to Asia, importing from Asia, but also trying to export to Asia. So we will have an important role to play, which we are doing now, to facilitate this trade through trade finance, through structured trade finance, and all kinds of facilities to make this trade flow smoothly between Asia and Africa.
So, sir, as we see that SBM seems to be very promising, and it has done exceedingly well in other countries, and now it's time for it to prove in India. So it was really nice talking to you, sir. Thank you for taking your time out.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
This was it for today, and for more business updates, we'll be getting back to you very soon. Till then, you keep watching National Mindset.